Come in, Professor.
You think you know me, Mr. Holmes?
Why not? You called upon me once before. On that occasion, your face was completely covered with surgical bandages. But your arrival coincided with the same removal of Watson and Mrs. Hudson. You were a little more original in your methods last time. Today, I recognized the symptoms. I was expecting you, Moriarty.
221B, Baker Street. Come at once, if convenient. If inconvenient, come anyway, could be dangerous. Sherlock Holmes. Thousands of people visit one of the world's most famous address. 221B, Baker Street, London, where the fictional detective, Sherlock Holmes, lived in the well-known stories by Arthur Conan Doyle. A lot of people are so taken with the stories that they forget Sherlock Holmes wasn't a real person and, therefore, didn't ever actually live at the address. In fact, there was no house there when Conan Doyle wrote the stories. The Sherlock Holmes Museum, at number 239, is a memorable place to visit if you are ever in London. It is my business to know what others don't know. My name is Sherlock Holmes. Who is this Sherlock Holmes? It is said that the character Sherlock Holmes was based on a real person named Benjamin Bell, a forensic surgeon for whom Conan Doyle worked as a clerk at the Edinburgh Royal Infirmary. You see, but you do not observe a scandal in Bohemia. Sherlock Holmes' problem-solving ability and powers of observation are based on the surgeon. Bell was even called on by the police to join several investigations, just as Sherlock Holmes did. Never theorize before you have data. Invariably, you end up twisting facts to suit theories instead of theories to Sherlock Holmes. The name Sherlock Holmes, how has it come? Conan Doyle was an expert cricket player, and combined the names of two other well-known players, Shacklock and Sherwin, to make the name Sherlock. His distinctive habits make you to feel him a real person. He rarely ate breakfast, and had 3 pipes, which he enjoyed smoking. He even had a habit that would be illegal today, taking cocaine. It's not clear exactly which of these habits Conan Doyle enjoyed, but, being a trained chemist, he would have understood the effects of them. Sherlock Holmes is also an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry. Even though he's not a real person, the society decided to make him a fellow. You Sherlock Holmes, wear the damn hat, John Watson. His hat, much of what we think about the character isn't from the original books. A flat cap in the books, but a deerstalker in most pictures. Sherlock's deerstalker hat was never mentioned in printed words. Although the character is made up, most of the locations are real. One of Conan Doyle's strengths as an author is describing a London that seems so real to the reader. Much of this is because of his detailed knowledge of the city, and his one observational skill. Death of the hero. In 1893, Sherlock Holmes was approaching peak of his popularity, when his creator, Arthur Conan Doyle, decided to do the unthinkable. He vowed to kill off his literary progeny. On a trip he made to Switzerland, the world's most popular detective killed by throwing him over the beautiful Alpine Reichenbach Falls. I made every disposition of my property before leaving England, and handed it to my brother Mycroft. Pray give my greetings to Mr. Watson, and believe me to be, my dear fellow, very sincerely yours, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes returns. Really, Conan Doyle wanted to write other books and felt that Sherlock Holmes was taking up way too much of his time. After the story titled The Adventure of the Final Problem, in 1893, people wrote angry letters. Thousands of people cancelled their subscriptions to the Strand magazine where Sherlock Holmes stories were published. He was able to get away with his fictional homicidal for nearly a decade. Conan Doyle never explicitly said why Sherlock Holmes is back to life, but definitely pressured to do so by both the public and his publishers. Holmes, I cried, is it really you? Can it indeed be that you are alive? It is possible that you are succeeded in climbing up that awful abyss. John Watson, The Adventure of the Empty House. So now you know the story behind the character. What is your favorite version of the Sherlock Holmes stories? The books, movies, or TV series? Never trust the general impressions, my boy, but concentrate yourself up on details. Sherlock Holmes.